started in Anambra. Then from Anambra, I moved to Edo.
How many jobs did you do in Anambra?
The truth of the matter is that I did not do anything in Anambra.
Okay.
I did not do anything in Anambra. Okay. Anambra can get the record of it. Okay. You understand?
Edo?
Okay, Edo State. Edo State is like about 3 times.
Okay. Did you do?
In Edo State, before I come to Lagos.
What did you do in Edo State?
3 times. First, second, third.
It's kidnapping.
Who and who? Who and who did you kidnap? Who and who did you kidnap?
I don't know my...
He lived in one of Lagos's richest neighborhoods, a mansion with white walls, bulletproof doors, and shining cars parked outside. But behind that quiet luxury was a man who had kidnapped more people than anyone could count. His name was Chukwudi Onuamadike, but Nigeria came to know him as Evans the Terrible. It started like every other Sunday morning in Magodo GRA, Lagos. The street was calm, birds singing, and the sun gently touching the rooftops. Then, suddenly, the silence broke. Police trucks screeched to a stop, boots hit the ground, and shouts filled the air. Within minutes, one of the most wanted men in Nigeria was surrounded. The neighbors were shocked. They knew him as Mr. George, a quiet, rich businessman who always greeted politely and dressed neatly. No one imagined that behind those dark glasses and soft voice was the man who had made millions of dollars by turning human fear into his personal business. Years earlier, far away from that mansion, in the busy town of Nui, Anambra State, Evans was just a boy. He was born in 1981 into a family that looked ordinary on the outside but was broken inside. His father was a businessman. His mother, a simple woman, tried to hold the family together. But life in Nui wasn't easy. Evans dropped out of secondary school after junior secondary too. His father wanted him to learn spare parts trade, the family's way of survival, but that didn't go well. He was accused of stealing money and was thrown out by his father. That rejection burned deep into his heart. He moved in with his mother, who lived alone after being separated from her husband. She tried to guide him, but the young man had already started to change. He felt unwanted. He felt small. He wanted to prove to the world that he could be something great, even if it meant walking through darkness. When Evans came to Lagos, he started small. He sold diesel by the roadside and worked at motor parks. He watched people, how they moved, how they talked, how the rich behaved. Lagos was the city of money, but also the city of hunger. And for Evans, hunger was not just about food, it was hunger for power. He began to move with people who knew how to make quick money. At first, it was small robberies on highways, luxury buses, travelers, traders. He was smart, quiet, and brave, and soon became useful to criminal gangs. But one night, during a robbery that went wrong, someone died. Evans escaped, but the blood stayed in his memory. He wanted something more professional, something that could make money without gunfire and noise. That was when he discovered the business of kidnapping. Kidnapping in Nigeria was not new, but Evans took it to another level. He studied how others did it, and then made it smarter, cleaner, and more profitable. He created what police would later call a criminal company. There were teams for everything. One group to watch the victim, another group to snatch them, another to guard them in secret houses, and Evans himself to make the final call, the ransom call. He didn't just demand money in naira like most kidnappers. He demanded dollars, sometimes as high as $1 million. And families paid because they believed the kidnappers would really kill their loved ones. Evans treated it like a job. He bought expensive phones, changed SIM cards often, and used false names. He built secret hideouts across Lagos, Edo, and Anambra states, including one in Igando and another in Festac town. The victims never saw his face. He never visited the camp directly. Orders were given by phone, cold and calm. To him, it wasn't crime, it was business. One of his victims, a man named Uche Okoroafor, was kidnapped after closing his shop at Alaba International Market. He was thrown into a car, blindfolded, and kept in a dark room for months. His family got a call. "We want $1 million. If you tell police, he dies." Uche's wife fainted. His brothers begged everyone they knew. They sold houses, borrowed money, and after almost 3 months, they paid part of the ransom. Evans released Uche thin, traumatized, and forever changed. For Evans, it was just another payday. He told his gang, "Never kill. Dead men don't bring ransom." He wanted money, not bodies. But make no mistake, he was no hero. He destroyed lives silently. For every ransom he collected, there were sleepless nights, broken families, and victims who could no longer live without fear. With time, Evans became extremely rich. He built 2 mansions in Magodo, another in Ghana, and bought cars that cost millions. He lived like a king. His neighbors saw a man with gentle manners and a beautiful family. His children attended private schools. No one suspected anything. He even helped people sometimes, donating to church, smiling in public, while secretly running one of the most dangerous kidnapping networks in West Africa. But his greed grew faster than his caution. He started to believe he was untouchable. He stopped hiding well. He started trusting too many people, and that's how the walls began to crack. In 2017, Evans ordered the kidnapping of a wealthy pharmacist named Donatus Dunu, owner of a big pharmaceutical company in Ilupaju, Lagos. Dunu was snatched near his home and locked inside one of Evans's hideouts. The ransom demand, €1 million. But fate had other plans. After 3 months in captivity, Dunu managed to escape. In the middle of the night, he squeezed his hands through the ropes, crawled through a broken wall, and ran for his life. Barefoot, bleeding, he reached a nearby road and found help. He went straight to the police and told them everything. For the first time, police had real information, names, phone numbers, and descriptions. They traced phone signals, followed bank records, and began closing in. Evans had been smart for years, but this time he didn't see it coming. On the morning of June 10, 2017, a special police team from Abuja and Lagos surrounded his Magodo mansion. Evans was still sleeping when the gate burst open. Officers stormed the compound, shouting his name. He tried to run, but there was nowhere to go. Within minutes, the man who had terrified Nigeria was handcuffed. Inside the mansion, police found 6 guns, hundreds of bullets, phones, and luxury cars. They also found maps of Lagos with names and addresses marked future targets. News spread across the country like fire. Evans, the billionaire kidnapper, arrested. People couldn't believe it. Videos of his house flooded social media. For the first time, Nigerians saw the face behind the fear. When Evans was brought to the police station, he looked calm, even polite. "My arrest was a surprise," he told reporters. "I had all the security. I don't know how they found me." He confessed to several kidnappings. Some where he collected $1 million, some 50 million Nigerian nairas, some 250 million Nigerian nairas. He even mentioned that he used to collect ransom in dollars only because naira is too common. The police called him a genius of crime. But to victims, he was a devil in human form. His wife, living in Ghana with their children, cried publicly, begging the government to forgive him. But Nigerians were furious. To them, this was not just one man's crime. It was the story of a nation's pain, greed, and broken system. Behind the fame and fear, Evans was still a broken man inside. During his confession, he spoke about his past, how his father disowned him, how he felt betrayed by life. "My father sent me away," he said softly. "I suffered. Nobody cared. I only wanted to make money." But somewhere deep down, he knew that what he built was not success. It was destruction. The court trials lasted years. His lawyers fought, appealed, and argued that the confessions were forced. But the evidence was too heavy. Testimonies from victims, his gang members, and the money trail. In February 2022, after long proceedings, Evans was finally sentenced to 21 years in prison for the kidnapping of businessman Sylvanus Ahamonu. Other cases were still pending. He showed little emotion as the judge read the verdict. He looked down, breathing quietly, maybe remembering the luxury cars, the big houses, the children he wouldn't see grow up. For a man who once called himself invincible, it was the end of an empire built on fear. But the real twist is not how he was caught. It's how easily people believed he could never be caught. For years, many Nigerians thought he had special powers, that police could never find him. His story became a warning that evil often hides in plain sight, wearing a calm smile. Today, his Magodo mansion still stands, quiet, dusty, and empty. The white walls are fading. The neighbors have moved on. But sometimes they look at that gate and remember the morning when the world discovered the truth about Mr. George. When you think about Evans, you see more than a criminal. You see a reflection of how greed, rejection, and pride can twist a person's soul. He didn't start out as a monster. He was a boy who wanted love, a man who wanted wealth, but he chose the wrong path to get it. His victims still live with fear. Some never recovered financially. Others never healed emotionally. For them, Evans isn't just a headline. He is a nightmare that never fully ends. If there's a lesson in this story, it's this: evil doesn't always look dangerous. Sometimes it wears perfume, drives a clean car, and lives in a big house. Evans proved that intelligence without conscience is destruction. And for every fortune built on fear, there's always a day of reckoning. He once said in an interview, "If I had known I'd be caught, I'd never have done this." But life doesn't work like that. You can run from people. You can hide from the police. But you can't run from consequences. Now, behind prison bars, Evans lives a quiet life. No cars, no cash, no freedom. Just long days and longer nights to think about what power cost him. And out here, Nigeria remembers him not for the money he made, but for the pain he caused. He is no longer Evans the billionaire kidnapper. He is simply inmate number 4765, the man who traded his soul for money. In the end, every mansion turns to silence. Every secret becomes known. And every story of power built on fear eventually falls. One quiet morning, when the police come knocking at the door, Evans, known as the Billionaire Kidnapper, lived a double life, a loving father by day and a ruthless criminal by night. He built an empire of fear, collecting millions in ransom while pretending to be a successful businessman. But when greed and betrayal caught up with him, his dark kingdom finally collapsed. How did one man turn kidnapping into a billion-naira business? And what finally led to his downfall? If you want to uncover more shocking African true crime stories like this, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel.